Okay, so in this video we're going to evaluate e to the I pi over 4, e to the 2 minus I pi over 3, and e to the minus 1 minus I pi over 4. So as you can see here, we're in the complex world. So what we'll say is, z is in the complex world, i.e. complex plane, and z is always in the form of z equals x plus iy. Okay, so x is the real part, y is the imaginary part. Okay, let's just write that above the top here, real and imaginary. Okay, now how are we going to evaluate these? So there's a formula we can use here, world famous formula, Eulers Identity. So Eulers Identity. And what that states is that e to the z equals e to the x cosine y plus I sine of y. So the x is taken from this part of the imaginary, and this y is used for the trig part of this identity. Okay, let's get a start onto this one, e to the I pi over 4. So let's write that down first. So first one, e to the I pi over 4. So write down the identity, e to the x. So that equals e to the x cosine y plus I sine of y. X is the real part. Well, in this one there's no real part. So what we say is it's e to the 0. And then cosine of y, the imaginary part, is I pi over 4. So that's pi over 4. So cosine pi over 4 plus I sine pi over 4. Okay, let's simplify this up a bit more now. We can fill out all these identities and this e to the 0. So that's just 1 times cosine pi over 4 and sine pi over 4 are the same, and they're root 2 over 2. Okay, so we can bring those root 2 over 2 out as well. What we could say is we've got root 2 over 2, 1 plus I. And that will give us our answer for the first one. So that's that one finished. Now let's tackle this one. So bring a box here to cover this one up. E 2 minus I pi over 3. Okay, straight again into Euler's identity. So that equals e to the x cosine of y plus I sine of y. So that equals e. So x in this case is the real part of this, which is 2 over 3. So that's e to the 2/3. Cosine, imaginary part, minus, don't forget this minus sign here, easy to miss that, minus I pi over 3. So that's minus pi over 3. And then the same angle for the sine, minus pi over 3. Don't forget the I in there either. Okay, let's plug in our values here now. So we've got e to the 2/3. Cosine of minus pi over 3 is 1/2. And then we've got an I here. I'll just leave the sign out for a second, because sine of minus pi over 3 is negative root 3 over 2. So negative root 3 over 2. And that will give us our answer for this one. Okay, now let's tackle this one here. So we've got e to minus 1 minus I pi over 4. Okay, straight into Euler's identity. So that equals e to the x cosine y plus I sine of y. So that equals e. X in this case is negative 1 over 4. And then we've got cosine. Now what's the imaginary part? Negative again, and I pi over 4. So basically negative pi over 4 is our angle. Let's make that a little bit better. And then I've Obviously the sign, same again. Okay, e to the minus 1 over 4, what we can say is that is 1 over e to the quarter. Obviously the minus on top, so we can bring it down to the bottom to make it positive. Cosine of negative pi over 4, root 2 over 2. And again, I'm going to leave the sign out, the plus or minus here, because sine of negative pi over 4 is negative root 2 over 2. Okay, and if we want to, we can bring out the root 2 over 2 to the front. So that equals root 2 over 2e to the quarter, 1 minus I. And that will give us our answer for this one.